Hi everyone, and thanks for checking out my channel. I'm going to have a look at the commodity market and do some mid-week checkpoint and see how we go and compare to some plans I've put in on over the weekend. Especially that was one for crude oil, and I was looking as well on some trade on coffee and of course natural gas. So looking at WTI crude oil to start with, was expecting some up and down on this ahead of the meeting, the OPEC meeting that got actually delayed until tomorrow. Of course, that did actually trigger some speculation to the downside. That actually came a bit earlier than what I thought, and we got a drop down to 44, which was quite a nice entry point to actually trade long. We got inside that's very large bull flag, some the momentum struggling at that bottom here at 44. That was a buy signal with a stop loss set not too far away below 43. It was significant support at 43.5, and now we see that the bull flag we're having here broke strongly to the upside. Now the question is, that bull flag, are we taking the pole from the bottom here? I would take the target up to almost 50. That's a possibility. Of course, we can also consider that it's actually a smaller flag, and that's on the break we are going to stop somewhere at 48. So profit taking at 48 probably makes sense. I think that rising wedge doesn't make sense anymore. Should probably just forget about this, and we are more potentially looking now at some channel moving to the upside, which is of course much more bullish that the rising wedge will give us a target. I think potentially 49 does actually could actually happen on this, as we got some powerful move and we could get some news from the OPEC that they're actually cutting supplies for longer, or even attempting to reduce further the output increase. So as we see, we've got the divergence here, but I don't think that's a major concern here. We cooled the RSI quite nicely, dropped down to the origin of that divergence was really major, and dropped down enough, I think, not to be concerned about this. Of course, watching that level, keeping stop loss under 43, and soon be able to bring it to break even. So that looks quite a trade going to the right direction. Now on natural gas, a bit more complicated. I was intended to actually trade natural gas down, but it's a bit ranging at the moment. Inside that range, it's actually a little bit tighter, up to 2.85 and up to 297. So I'm gonna wait for some more direction. We have in divergence here that's actually pointing to correction to 280, but of course that's too low to actually enter any short position here. It's too risky at that time of the year to hold short here. So we're having that trend line that could actually play out. Should we actually reject once again and we actually get some compression down to 280, I might actually be keen to actually open short on the break down, rather than trying to accumulate to the upside and getting exposed to a spike to the upside. So yeah, I think in principle we're still looking at move to the downside because of that very big divergence we are in. That's pointing to a serious correction down to that trend line, but still I think the entry is a little bit weak at the moment for short, and of course as we are in winter, always a bit careful holding short position for too long. So on the sideline for now on natural gas, and waiting for some more clarity. Looking at silver, so I was interested in shorting silver because of that huge pattern we're having in place, inverted cap handle that didn't actually break yet. We got 22 resisting, but got another attempt to it. And I believe that we are going to make another one at least at 22. Should that level break, because of the size of that figure, the move we got before on the cap, we could see that the target could go as low as $14. So that seems a lot. It's a really strong correction, and I have no idea if that will happen or not. I will not actually attempt to trade this too strongly, of course, but we can see here on the momentum build up on the 4 hours, we still didn't clear up that divergence originally here. So I think a fair target is probably 19.6. That could get interesting to actually open long, but of course should we break that level, then I believe the reaching 14 could actually be real. We're having the same pattern on gold, that's bearish weekly divergence. That's a very bearish signal on any market, and usually be really careful with any long position on this. So I'm gonna attempt potentially to trade this to the short side. Sorry, that was the 4 hours. Yeah, that's 1 hour here. We can see it's really sharp divergence in place here. Let's see how that one is playing out, but we're having plenty of resistance to the upside. 25 will be really solid, and not talking about 26, that's going to be rock solid on this, and potentially will accumulate a short position as we go to the upside for a retest of 22. That would be the original target, or the first target, and potentially break lower for something a little bit more ambitious. Looking also at copper, copper's got now finally some sort of a nice setup to the short side as well. So we got that divergence on the 4 hours. That's actually quite neat now, but the bulls are still in control. The buyers are still actually stepping in alongside the 20 MA on the 4 hours. So of course a little bit too early to call this trend change, but I believe that will happen. Of course, we can still go and double top on this, but the trend line on the 4 hours, I think it's now quite solid. We had previous fake 4 hour divergence like that one that did actually fail to break much lower, and again the 20 MA did step in, and we got that break here that did actually trigger the move to the upside. So of course be careful, should we actually break that level and break the 252, it could actually go higher, and then we would have some bull flag as well that could actually break and go as high as 374, sorry. But for now I think it's not the case. Still looking at that short trade, and potentially look at some rejection to the a little bit higher, potentially breaking 350 and rejecting to the downside. So see that for later on. And coffee got interesting move from very key level at 124, got rejected strongly, filled the gap today, and got rejected alongside the trend line. So I think it's all positive. We're still building up some nice triangle here, here. So inside that triangle, I think it's all very safe, compressing and accumulating under 124. And of course, if we just take this, the main pattern I'm actually trading on coffee is that huge cup and handle pattern. It's an extremely bullish pattern, but that one is almost sort of out of a trading book, as you can see, and the target for this will be quite ambitious as well, as if we take the bottom here and on the breakout we are now looking at 145. That would be a major break on that market, because that's been the top back now almost 2 years ago. So of course we'll be watching that level very carefully. Should we actually break out, take profit at that level would make perfect sense, but should we have a break much higher, then we could actually start looking at higher price for coffee. So yeah, definitely very interesting time ahead, and I think as long as we're actually protecting that 116 level, 115, we're probably all safe with that accumulation phase. We're not going to challenge this further to the downside, and it could actually break out as soon as I think it's early next week. Which one it is? Yeah, that's Tuesday next week. So potentially within a week we could see some major breakout for coffee. So yeah, definitely looking into this and keep an eye on that market. So yeah, that's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. Wish you safe trading, and I speak to you soon. Cheers, bye.